are live, hanging out with you at Southwest University Park. Oh, my goodness. We are in the radio booth that Tim Haggerty made famous. In fact, Hags will be joining us in about 2 hours and 10 minutes for a little road action with the Chihuahuas and the Round Rock Express. But now we'll just keep his radio booth warm for the next couple as we get you ready for the third annual A&A All the Way Celebrity Softball Game. Along with Adrian Broadus, I'm Steve Kaplowitz on a gorgeous, partly cloudy day here in El Paso. It is a perfect day for softball. In fact, what I've noticed is they haven't even brought the fences in yet. I wonder if they're even going to bring the portable fences in today, Adrian, or they're going to let these guys try to, hit that ball, 392 to left center and then 406 to dead center. I'm curious to see what kind of dimensions we're going to be talking about here when they get ready to play.
Yeah, no doubt, but it's just a lot of excitement, right? The third time that we're out here with the A&A All the Way Foundation for their charity softball game. I'm already looking over here, the Pepsi patio. We got a chance to experience that a couple weeks ago, Steve, and it looks like over at the Pepsi patio, they're already having the pregame party, already starting the festivities off right, and it's with all the different players on both Team Alvin and then Team Showtime. So it's Team Showtime versus Team Vino. Aaron's team won last year. Alvin's team won the first year. So this year it's the rubber match. It's going to be a lot of fun. Gates open here at 6 o'clock. Home run derby at 6:30. And then game starts at 7:30 tonight here at Southwest University Park. It's a beautiful night. And tickets are still available online, aaalltheway.org. That's where they're having that. And, Steve, we're running it back. Third year in a row, silent auction, 600 ESPN El Paso, guest host on Sports Talk, and that is coming back this year again.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. We've had some great winners so far on this, and last year Esteban won. He gifted it to Pinky,
right,
who was terrific, and he had a great time with it. So whoever wins the guest host for Sports Talk, it'll be the ultimate experience. In fact, maybe this year we'll throw in lunch with us before the show.
I love that.
We'll do a pre-show lunch. We'll go meet up at a restaurant in town. We'll talk about the show that day, what we're going to do, kind of do a whole pre-show meeting and routine like we normally get to, and give the winner a little extra sizzle before we go on air that day.
You know what? This sounds like it's right up a lot of our listeners' alley. I think this is, if you've ever wondered what we do on a day-to-day basis for Sports Talk, if you ever wonder how the show operates, this is your chance to do it. All you have to do is visit the silent auction. We posted a link on social media, on our Twitter and X account, where you can actually log on for the silent auction and see all the different prizes. You can also see where you can bid for us on 600 ESPN El Paso as a guest host. So all of that is up where we threw it out on our direct link.
In fact, we just reposted it as well, so it's through 600 ESPN El Paso, but we've also reposted that for those of you that want to check it out, and yeah, it is very cool. Now, I just went to the link, Adrian, and the first thing I see is it asks me for a username.
Yeah, let me get a better link for you, Steve. I'll throw it out on social media. I'll let everybody know this is the right one. I got a direct one for you, so
perfect.
I'll send it to you directly.
Oh,
maybe that'll
awesome.
be the better way to do this.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh, by the way, I love the fact that you posted the first year we did this when we had the kids come.
Yes,
and
Carson and the gang.
Oh, they were great. In fact, they were so much fun. We had a great time with them, and we were looking at we had 4 of them. They were all fun, and they were all 7th and 8th graders at the time.
Yeah, they were all from St. Mark's. I wonder, I bet these kids are now freshmen, sophomore at El Paso High, but they were all at St. Mark's. They all joined us for Sports Talk. Some of them, they were sports fans. The others were not, but it was fun. It was like a good mix of guys who wanted to talk on the radio for the first time. But that was the spirit of it. We had a dad gift it for his son. His son brought all his friends out with us on Sports Talk. It was a great time. Yeah, Carson and the entire game. That was year one with the A&A All the Way Foundation.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Meanwhile, the big story right now is draft day. day number 2, and we heard the rumors that Tristan Newton could find himself selected here in the second round. Some didn't have him on their boards and their mocks, but others said absolutely there was a chance he could get drafted. And lo and behold, 49th overall, 19th pick in the second round to the Indiana Pacers. And why do I love this so much, folks? I love this because Ryan Carr heads their player personnel. And for anybody that follows UTEP basketball, Ryan Carr came with Jason Rabideau, stuck around for the first year of Billy Gillespie. Then he went to the Pacers, where he had been prior to coming to UTEP, and was working with Larry Bird, and he's been there ever since. So we are talking about 20 years with the Pacers for Ryan Carr. His kids, I believe, were born in El Paso, and you think about what this means, the connection for this community, and knowing Tristan's going to go play with the Pacers, who had a terrific postseason run. Adrian, this could not make me happier if we tried. And by the way, love the fact that right after the Pacers picks, the Knicks took another player from France. I feel like all they're doing is going to grab Frenchmen right now.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I will just say this for Tristan Newton. I believe he's the first El Paso player who was graduated from El Paso and got drafted in the NBA since Jim Forbes back in 1974, and Gus Bailey, same year, 1974, both from graduated from an El Paso school. None of them, not Jim Forbes, not Bailey, and not Tristan Newton. None of them were actually born in El Paso. However, they get a chance to be drafted, and Tristan being the first one to do it since then, since 74. Do you count Kenny Thomas, who Colin Deaver, he also tweeted about that earlier. Yeah. Kenny Thomas spent 3 years in El Paso at Austin High School before then moving to Albuquerque, graduated from Albuquerque High, and then went over to New Mexico. Kind of hard to count that, right?
Yeah, I feel almost like that's a tougher one. Had he finished up here, then that would probably play into it. I mean, maybe Kenny Thomas is like a partial. That's the best way to put it. He's like a partial pick more than anything else.
Yeah, I like that one right there. But for Tristan Newton, getting a chance to graduate from Burgess High School, didn't have a lot of offers out of high school, then goes to East Carolina for 2 seasons, doesn't necessarily, has success, but doesn't necessarily win, but then finds his winning ways at UConn, back-to-back national champion, and now an NBA draft pick here to the Indiana Pacers. And what a crowded backcourt that is right now. It tells me, Steve, maybe an Andrew Nembhard could be on the move from Indiana down the line. Maybe TJ McConnell here down the line. Maybe those two could see themselves out from Indiana at some point. And with Tristan Newton, he's already older. He's got that veteran experience. He is somebody who can be integrated with the Pacers almost immediately. And I'm not saying he could be an off-the-bench player right away, but he could work himself to being that in that role. So I like him as like a 10th, 11th, 12th guy to start off the season off the bench to help this team in the backcourt.
I think that'd be great. I think that would be great. So once again, it's a cool story, and more than anything else, love the fact that we find Tristan Newton with the Pacers. It's really to me the kind of day, and the fact that he's going to be here tonight, and we could even get a chance to talk to Tristan.
Oh yeah,
the same day he gets drafted would be awesome, absolutely awesome.
No doubt about it.
Bronny just got picked up as well by the Lakers.
I just saw that. I was about to say that as well, Alberto. I appreciate that. Bronny James, 55, goes to the Lakers. We heard today, Steve, Rich Paul, a.k.a. LeBron's agent, a.k.a. Bronny's agent, called teams very close to the 55th pick and said, hey, if you go over and play, with a team, or if you end up getting drafted with another team, we're not going to go. We're going to go to Australia instead. So I think Rich Paul, again, LeBron, Bronny's agent, he was deterring a lot of teams from actually joining them. But hey, joining us here in Tim Haggerty's broadcast booth is Colin Deaver. We were just talking about you.
About me?
Yes, we were just saying about Kenny Thomas and Tristan Newton. But your thoughts, man? First off, you're going to be the on-field MC tonight at the 3rd annual A&A All the Way charity softball game. Welcome back with us. It's great to see you. And Tristan Newton, a guy that we've all covered here since he was a high school player at Burgess High School, gets drafted in the NBA.
Yeah. Also, first of all, very excited for tonight to be the on-field host with Johnny Cage. I've never done anything like this before. We'll see how it goes. I think the broadcast reps will kick in at some point, and I'll be all right. But looking forward to that. But I busted in here to talk about Tristan because I'm so happy for him. He my first year at KTSM was his senior year. I was there the night he went over 3,000 points, and then have just. Obviously, as we all have, just followed him all the way up. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I mean, it is so cool to see that happen. It is so rare for this area for something like this to happen in the NBA. I mean, Kenny Thomas, I guess we spoke on the phone earlier, and I had not been giving Kenny Thomas maybe the credit he deserved for being in El Paso when he was here until his junior year of high school. So if you're going to give credit to KJ Lewis in a year or two when he gets drafted, you kind of have to offer Kenny Thomas the same thing.
You do. I gave Kenny partial credit. That's how I said it earlier on the show. I said you can't give him full credit
because he really dove into the Albuquerque scene, and KJ's still full in on the El Paso scene.
So there's a story. There's a story about that because everybody thought UTEP was going to get Kenny Thomas, and then the idea when Kenny moved and relocated with his whole family, we figured out, there might have been a little bit going on back then. That was like maybe the pre-NIL days is what was going on there. And
Smart
of course,
play by UNM.
Yes, it was. And by the way, they reaped the benefits. Kenny Thomas was a terrific player, but a lot of us thought at the time he could be heading to UTEP because remember, UTEP was still very good at that point and really could have used Thomas, but New Mexico wanted him. They were aggressive. They kind of thought out of the box to do some things that worked out. So, based on all of that, that's one of the reasons why I've always given Kenny Thomas a partial with El Paso
and I think
versus full credit.
I think it's fair. And again, he dove right into the Albuquerque. Like he's a big proponent of Albuquerque and UNM sports. I think he lives there full time now. So but we'll give him his credit. But you have to go back to Gus Bailey and Jim Forbes, who were taken in the 2nd and 4th round respectively of the 1974 NBA draft.
Yeah,
and it's to think that I mean we just lost Jim Forbes a couple of years ago. To think that it's been that long that somebody who graduated high school in the city of El Paso has been drafted to play in the NBA, given the amount of people that care about basketball in this region, how really good it has been at a lot of levels for a long time. It's crazy to think about.
Do you like the basketball fit itself? I mean, Halliburton's there leading the way, obviously, but you've got a team that has T.J. McConnell in that backcourt, Andrew Nemhard maybe on the move after this acquisition right here. Hard to tell, but your idea or your likelihood of this fit right here?
He'll probably end up playing some in the G League, right? I mean, they are stacked at the point guard position, but you talk about a kid who's had to prove himself every step of the way. I mean, out of high school here in El Paso, UTEP didn't sniff at him. I think New Mexico State went and saw him once. He had to go to East Carolina, tears it up there, and then the first. I think Bernie Olivas said he's the first team All-American basketball player from El Paso ever.
Wow.
So
now here's another thing, and this is again, it's a great storyline. I mentioned this a moment ago. Ryan Carr is the vice president of player personnel for the Indiana Pacers.
Yes.
Ryan Carr was a UTEP assistant under Jason Rabideau.
Was he really?
And later spent a year with Billy Gillespie before going to the Pacers. So Ryan has been with the Pacers the last 20 years, but he was a UTEP assistant for at least 3 to 4 years, and maybe longer now that I think about it, and loves El Paso, loves the school. And, I mean, the fact that there is that kind of tie also at Tristan Newton, knowing he worked everybody out. Ryan was in charge of all the NBA draft workouts and ultimately kind of heads the war room when it comes to making the pick. I think that connection is even better.
And I think, was it the Pacers, and NBA teams will do this where they'll post highlights of their draft workouts and then interviews, but Tristan was one of the guys they highlighted a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
so maybe that was some foreshadowing on their part, or they did the same thing with Teddy Allen a couple of years ago and didn't end up taking him. But yeah, I'm so excited for him, and we'll see. As the on-field host today at Southwest University Park, we're going to try to get him for an interview on the field at some point to talk about this, because I mean, what an opportunity for him to obviously just have this chance to play in this All-Star game and really get the love he has deserved for 5 years.
Yep.
And being at UConn, it's maybe been hard for El Pasoans to do that for him. But
well, and you think about it. I mean, you think about the basketball star power here tonight with KJ and Tristan Newton.
Man.
I mean, one guy is the player of the year in college basketball. The other one could be eventually the player of the year, assuming he sticks around. I don't know. KJ seems like he's ready to jump into the NBA too. Even thought about it this year, getting that evaluation just to see where he stands.
yeah, and I think he probably made the right choice. You're having him on later today, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I would imagine he'll say the same thing, is that it was the right choice to come back.
Yep.
And now he's going to go, I saw him earlier today. He'll go full bore into the season with Arizona. He looks great. He'll be he's going to be the starting 2 guard, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so too.
I don't think we're going to be waiting 25 years for another El Paso to get drafted.
I'm with you. Jersey looks good on you, by the way.
Thank you.
Turquoise and purple. I love the colors.
Yeah, they obviously had to change them up for the.
Or I guess, was it red last year, red and black?
Yeah, red and black. That's
Okay.
right.
Was it? They never did the Packers colors then. I don't know.
I don't think
Maybe
so.
that was foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Although there is more Minnesota Viking colors on that than anything else.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
figure that has to be why.
I would
don't
think
know.
so.
I was not asked to design it. I just was asked to put it on.
Just to wear it.
Yeah.
That sounds
I like
good.
the back. What's the number?
25.
Okay.
Was my basketball number for years.
Easy.
Oh,
Nice.
That's good. Wasn't that Bonds' number?
Who?
Barry Bonds.
It was.
Wore 25 when he was
was.
with the Giants.
Yep.
So-
he did, and then 24 with the Pirates.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's about where the comparison stopped for me and him.
Oh, man, I can hear that. Hey, we're having a good time. We're hanging out right now up here, and we'll be here till 6:15 today, or actually 6:10, and then it's the Chihuahuas taking over with Tim Haggerty. But more sports talk coming up in a moment as we continue live here from Southwest University Park. It's the A&A All the Way 3rd Annual Charity Softball Game, Celebrity Softball Game. We'll continue right after Charlie 1 with traffic. Los Angeles, there were some rumors that maybe another team would try to take LeBron's kid just to entice him to leave Los Angeles. But there are already rumors, guys, that LeBron will sign a 3-year extension for $160 million to stay a Laker. And this now pretty much means that you will not find LeBron going anywhere before he decides to hang up his shoes.
You know what, Steve? What I noticed immediately with Bronny going to the Lakers is that they were trying to deter other teams from actually drafting Bronny, and I'm talking about Rich Paul, his agent. For Bronny, I don't know how his fit is going to be in the NBA, or if he'll see an NBA floor this season. I feel like this season will be about him ramping up, behind the scenes, being with his father. It's the Ken Griffey Jr. moment, right? I mean, it's that moment right here for LeBron to have with his son, and for them to have an opportunity to play with each other. I think now, where it stands right now, this LeBron is in a phase of his life where he's not necessarily ring chasing. He doesn't want rings to define his career. He's hoping that the twilight of his career can be amplified by him just playing with his son. I think this has been a huge goal of his for a long time.
No, I'm with you. And what I can tell you more than anything else is that, there will be at least for long term a second James getting a chance to at least develop as a member of the Lakers, whether it's in the G League or with the team. And at some point in LeBron's career, he will share the floor with his son at some point. And that's going to be one of those items that, you always say for a player in his career, getting a chance to be on the floor with your next of kin has to be probably one of the great moments of somebody's life. So, you know what? Say what you want about LeBron and the Lakers. They did what they needed to do to keep him around and now give his son the opportunity, and good for them.
Yeah, and again, I'm just going to say it a little bit more. Is this a mean approach for the Lakers fans out there? They're not contenders. The Lakers are not contenders at all, and they're not even close to being contenders. They need a lot of other pieces in order to even be in a position to try to contend. So they're not Oklahoma City. They're not Dallas. They're not Denver. They're not Minnesota. They're kind of far from that, and maybe they're fighting to be a play-in team right now as it stands. I loved their first-round draft pick in Dalton Connect. I couldn't even believe that he fell all the way to 17. I almost gave Rob Pelinka a pass to go out and draft Bronny, knowing that they already have an immediate impact player in Dalton Connect from Tennessee. I like that pick in the first round, but again, that doesn't push them over the top. That doesn't make them a contender at this stage of where they're at right now, and it's fine. I guess they're just worried about selling jerseys and making everybody excited, all the fans fans excited about Bronny and LeBron playing together.
Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. All right, 28 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. I'm trying to figure out who's picked who. It is so difficult right now to understand who these picks actually belong to because there are so many deals that have been made during the course of this second round of the draft.
Right. I mean, right now, Kevin McCullough Jr., who got picked up by the Suns, he's from Kansas, actually went up against the Miners 2 seasons ago, had, a really nice run with the Jayhawks with their run to the Final Four a couple seasons ago as well. He's somebody who just got picked up by the Suns, but that was a trade from Denver, and then Denver dealt that one away from Brooklyn, and then Brooklyn ended up dealing that one with Philly. So it's like this long web of different teams who are just trading players left and right.
And apparently Kevin McCullough is a Knick.
Wow. So that's even more funny. So they have all these by the way, in the first round, can we have the real team actually announce Adam Silver announce the real team? I hate that. It is so confusing and it's so awkward that the player has to place a hat of a team that he's not going to on his head and then quickly take it off and then go off with his real team.
You got to remember though, okay? And I'm happy you brought that up because the truth is that when Scottie Pippen was drafted, I believe he put on a Seattle Sonics cap before they told him he was going to be traded to the Bulls. Or he knew while he was wearing the Sonics cap that he had been traded to the Bulls. It's very confusing.
Yeah, it is very confusing. I can't stand it. It really ruins moments for the draft and what could be moments for celebration. Instead, you got to just confusingly go off to your side and then go and switch your hat. So don't like that, but I did like the first round, Steve. I thought it went all over the place. Memphis picking up Zach Edey, the player of the year, the national player of the year from Purdue. Purdue lost in the national championship game, but that was the biggest surprise. People thought Zach Edey would get outside the top 20, but then he gets taken all the way at 9, which was pretty impressive. Minnesota traded up for Rob Dillingham. We were excited about San Antonio's picks. That was at number 8. They ended up dealing that one away. It ends up going to Minnesota.
Love that pick for them.
Yeah, and I'm scratching my head if I'm San Antonio because I'm like, why wouldn't you want Rob Dillingham? Why wouldn't you want to pair him with Stephon Castle, who you picked at 4? So winners and losers, definitely. Those are a little, I guess that's a little tease right there for some of the winners and losers of the draft.
Yeah, it's difficult. You almost have to sort it all out when it's all said and done just to see how this whole thing is going to go because, there's a lot of confusion, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Another one that I'm looking at, or that was a little confusing, was Portland's pick at number 7 with Donovan Clingan. I think there were a lot of teams that were going out and trying to trade Charlotte to try to move up and get Clingan at 6 before Portland drafted him. They couldn't acquire a good enough suitor for Donovan Clingan, so they end up taking a guy from France. I didn't think he was going to be actually taken as Saloon in the first round, but he ends up getting picked all the way up at 6. So it was just kind of an unpredictable draft all around, Steve. I think what we learned from this one right here is that whenever there is uncertainty with the draft pick, trust Lane Frank, who picked Zachary Richard at number 1.
That's right. He seemed to have that down pretty well, so give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Hey, by the way, I'm curious about something.
Ricochet.
Did Tristan Da Silva have UTEP connections?
Tristan Da Silva played against UTEP, yeah. He played against UTEP when he was with the team on that exhibition game for Texas Tech. So that's what ended up happening right there.
Maybe that's what it was, because I do remember some of those connections. By the way, it looks like the Jones brothers have now started their press conference as they in anticipation for their big third annual celebrity softball game. So.
You know what, Steve? I love the shades. I got to comment on that right away. When you see Aaron Jones, the first thing you notice is the shades. He's rocking the custom Oakleys for sure. Alvin's rocking some nice shades as well. It looks like Alvin's embracing more of that turquoise look, the dark turquoise look, while Aaron, he's going to stick to his Vikings colors, that Viking purple, and that's what his team will be rocking.
Although I feel like that Colin Deaver is wearing the same jersey that
Yeah.
Alvin has on right now.
No, that's exactly right. I saw in the locker room a little sneak peek. They've been throwing some videos out there on Twitter and X, the ANA All the Way Foundation, that they are showing off multiple jerseys. So I think some guys have like home run derby jerseys, and then others have just the game worn jerseys. So it's just going to be an exciting day. Tickets again are still available. AAAlltheway.org. And by the way, the silent auction, I know the link on our Twitter handle is not necessarily the best one. All you have to do is text softball. That's text softball 2024. Softball 2024 to 76278. That number is 76278 for the silent auction. And they're doing a lot of really cool stuff on this, Steve. I'll read it out to you, okay?
Yeah, and I agree with you. And by the way, let me say this. When you do text softball 2024 to 76278, they're going to ask you for your name, your email, your country, your city, your state, your zip, all the information they would need if you win the auction. So Don't worry about that information. That's just going to unlock the opportunity to be inside the silent auction.
You know, and I also see here, Steve, that they have items available for shipping. So if our out-of-town listeners want to bid on something like this, they definitely can. So you can do something like, if you're out of town wanting to bid on our silent auction, all you have to do, text softball 2024 to 76278. We'll put that in our Twitter handle, and then the silent auction is open to you on our side. So then you can see things like the signed Khalid Letterman jacket. Some really cool stuff in here.
How about the signed Aaron Jones sombrero plus Oakley shades?
Man, that's a great one, too. One of my favorites is a VIP home run. So you could take a hack at the VIP home run derby. So if somebody out there really thinks, hey, maybe I could win the home run derby tonight at the ANA All the Way charity softball game, that is actually up as well. So you could do that and click on that one. And then, of course, guest host with us in 600 ESPN El Paso.
Another really cool thing. They have a lot of cool stuff, but I love the signed Tristan Newton basketball that already has a bid on it. So now he's a member of the Indiana Pacers. Love the fact that a signed basketball from Tristan Newton is among the items.
Also, last weekend, the ANA All the Way Foundation did a great collaboration with one of our great partners, Tin Man. They have a Showtime signed Tin Man growler up on the silent auction as well. $125. That's the current bid, but it includes a pint glass. It includes the nice can glass that is featured with ANA, the growler, and then a signed softball as well. That's all included in that one.
They have items from Massage Envy, Card My Yard, Urban Acts, like you mentioned, Beauty Fixing Company, Sunkissed, Lorena Velasquez, Beauty. That's also part of it. You mentioned Lola Rose, Kendra Scott. We've talked about all the signed items as well. A lot of very cool things. A chance to perhaps go into the dugout tonight for a dugout experience. That's also going to be something very cool.
You know what I like is just the signature bats, because they come from our great friend at Overfly. Overfly Bats, Steve. They are the ones who actually put together all the ANA All the Way charity softball game bats. Those are up right now. I'm told that those bats go for a high amount. And speaking of high amount, how about 2 tickets? A Vikings game and your airfare paid for. That one is going up right now. There are 10 bids, $1,100 for that right there to go see Aaron Jones and the Vikings, and that's also on the silent auction.
Very, very cool. So again, all you got to do is text softball 2024 to 76278, and you can get right into the silent auction happening here tonight. 36 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. A lot of other things going on. I mean, obviously the draft is the big story today. Day 2 of the draft. The fact that the Lakers picked Bronny to join his dad, that is a huge storyline. By the way, do we like the idea of Kyle Filipowski going to the Utah Jazz at pick number 32?
I'm glad you asked, Steve. Utah is my favorite team of this draft so far, and man, you talk about a guy who needs an honorary ring with the Boston Celtics. It's Danny Ainge, who's currently running the Utah Jazz. Danny Ainge built that Celtics team that just won the NBA Finals recently with picks like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Al Horford, acquiring him. He built that team, and that team ends up winning the finals. Well, look at what he's doing in Utah quietly with this team. No one's really looking at them. Colorado's shooting guard Cody Williams goes to Utah at 10. Then Filipowski drops all the way into the second round, and they grab him with the second pick in the second round. Filipowski could play this year, like right behind Walker Kessler. He can hit threes. I really like what he did at Duke. He's a skilled 7-footer, and he can also handle. This is a guy who could be on the floor. You can trust him with the ball, and you can watch him play make from the outside. Like, I really, really like this acquisition right here by Utah.
Again, and really people thought that Kyle Filipowski was going in the first round.
Right.
So that was one of the big surprises of this draft, the fact that he fell all the way to the second round, and then Utah was able to take him second overall in the second round.
Yeah, I was really impressed by Utah's draft. Ron Holland II, that's another name that we've talked about yesterday. He went all the way number 5 to Detroit from G League Ignite. This is a guy that Rodney Terry from Texas heavily recruited. He ended up not going to Texas. He ended up going the G League route, and he also played his senior season at Duncanville with KJ Lewis. So interestingly enough, Ron Holland II going number 5 to Detroit.
All right, 39 past as we continue here on Sports Talk. Let's take a timeout. We've got a lot more in store for you coming your way live from Southwest University Park, getting you ready for the A&A All the Way Foundation celebrity softball game, which will be coming up here in a few hours. We continue. 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back, everybody, as we continue live from Southwest University Park, along with Adrian Broadus. Steve Kaplowitz here, and getting ready for the third annual A&A All the Way Foundation celebrity softball game. And with us right now, a man who has joined us over the years, and man, oh man, great things happening for him and his career right now. We're talking about KJ Lewis, and a member of the Arizona Wildcats, joining us here. Great to see you back. You look terrific, and thanks for coming by. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate y'all. It's always love. I appreciate coming on here and talking to y'all.
Man, your career arc has been terrific. Ever since we first met you, we knew big things were going to happen, and that's exactly what it's been like for you. Tell me about what really the last 12-plus months were like in Arizona and Tucson, getting a chance to be part of that great run with the Wildcats.
It was different, coming in June last year around this time as a, incoming freshman, just trying to figure out, how I can, basically try to, figure out a role, get on the court, play some, valuable minutes. We went overseas, and I think, I had a good start to my summer playing overseas in Israel. And it kind of just carried me through, the whole year through the non-conference and, conference play, being a good part of the team coming off the bench. Unfortunately, it ended a little earlier than, what we would have liked in the Sweet 16. But, it was a great year overall for me and the team, I feel like.
Yeah. I thought you guys were making a big run this past year, but it's just exciting that you're back here in El Paso. Tell our listeners what you're here for. You're here for Hooping with the Huskies. This is your second year doing this here in El Paso, hosting a free basketball camp for everybody here in town.
Yes, sir. Just coming back, trying to give back to the community, the Northeast, and all around El Paso at Chapin High School. Playing with the little kids, interacting with them, teaching them, the fundamentals at an early age. Getting, having them see, what it was like for me growing up with my mom being, the head of it, seeing how she operates. Just, being there, having the kids see me, asking questions, answer questions. It's always fun. I'm glad that, I'm back for my second year.
A couple of weeks ago, Rodney Lewis joined us right after the announcement that he was going to be stepping away from Chapin and at least taking a year off to kind of see how things go, and surprised a lot of us. I'm wondering, did he get a chance to talk to you a little bit as that whole decision and that process was being made?
Yeah, so, like most people know, me and Coach Lewis, we always been close since I was a little kid. So just, small talks of, outside of basketball, I kind of, knew it was coming. So I was just trying to do my part, not to say anything to nobody. But, I'm happy for him. He's put so much, time, effort, and, blood, sweat, and tears into this game, and especially into this city. Definitely one of the best coaches to ever, come out. And I'm fortunate to play under him for 3 years. I'm happy for him. It's finally time for him to rest and just be a father and, somebody to spectate the game.
No doubt. He's got kids, and that's something that's important for him, is getting a chance to see them through as they play ball as well. But one of the things he talked about was what he was able to accomplish. I mean, these are the kind of things that you don't see very often in El Paso. And I think people should understand that the job he was able to do, not just with yourself, but even after you ended up leaving, keeping those teams, taking them deep into the state playoffs, terrific foundation he built out there at Chapin.
No, for sure. And it doesn't even start with me. Even the year before, getting that team to, just a bye district, and, everybody had them not making it. And just, we took it year by year. He installed a bunch of, knowledge and wisdom, and helped, us grow on the court and off the court as young men. And again, we had a bunch of talent even after I left, with Bryson, Brandon, Jaden, just young guys, coming in willing to learn and, wanting to play under him, legendary coach, because obviously, he comes from legendary, with Coach Forbes and everything. So, for sure.
Can we flip the narrative in El Paso that now we're starting to see a lot of basketball talent? Tristan getting drafted today by Indiana, you next year out of Arizona, Jaden Leverett, all those offers he's been getting and receiving. But it's guys like you and Tristan who help pave the way for other guys to get that exposure here in El Paso.
No, for sure. I think it is, kind of, time to change the narrative, especially in El Paso, but, definitely in West Texas. Everybody obviously knows the Metroplex has a bunch of talent, but, we're seeing, like, Tristan, this year, hopefully me next year, and then Jaden, even younger guys coming up that we may not know about in middle school or elementary, just looking up to us, willing to put that work in, and, seeing how we did it the right way. And even from, different from Aaron, from everybody else that, paved the way for everybody. I think it's definitely time to change the narrative.
By the way, when you first got ranked, we first heard about you, what were you, like 12 at the time?
Ranked? I think I just turned 16.
16? I feel like it was even younger than that. It was some kind of class record. We were like, man, he is years and years away, but there you are. You were like top 5 in your class. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Actually, the funny story, I think my first time being ranked was probably like 7th grade. I think I was like ranked 43. That kind of is funny that I remember that. But
12 years old, 7th grade.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
12, yeah.
But you went through the draft process. Let's talk about what that evaluation was like for you. How did it help you? Talk about like the workouts and ultimately getting the evaluation, which led for your decision to stick around and play for Arizona.
For sure. So, right when, the season ended, kind of just took some time to myself with my family, like just a few days just to get a break from basketball because, the season is really long.
Yeah.
And then after that, just having talks with my agent, my manager, and just my circle, figuring out what the next steps were going to be. Ultimately, we kind of already knew this whole year that I was going to, test it out. I was getting a lot of buzz towards the end of the year from teams that were interested in me, telling my agent. So, just working out every day, figuring out what, teams wanted me to work out. I had 6 workouts scheduled. And then I didn't even work out for no teams. I kind of just really knew like what I needed to work on, what they were telling my agent before I even, went to work out for the teams. And then I just, again, had to made a decision with my mom and my family just to, not even go through all that process mentally, physically. I kind of wasn't all there. And the process is hard. So if you're not mentally and physically ready for it, it'd just be no point of doing it. So just, took my name out, and I just did everything that, my agent told me the teams were wanting me to showcase this upcoming season. I just hit it hard. I think this is my first week actually getting some rest from after I took my name out. So
yeah, good for you.
It's a hard process for sure. Congratulations to everybody, man. That process is definitely not what people think it is.
Wow. With you coming here to El Paso, KJ, and specifically playing in the A&A All the Way charity softball game, 3rd annual one, what was the feeling like coming in here to this town, back here, getting the warm reception from all the people, and then getting out here, getting a chance to play in this game right here to benefit the foundation?
So funny, I wasn't even, my mom, she told me, so I was definitely surprised, but, super excited because, obviously being in high school, you see it. This is the 3rd year, so 2 years ago being in high school, seeing it, I was like, dang, hopefully one day I get to be a part of it, get to play in front of the community, and, meet some great people, interact with some great people, and make, new friendships. So I'm super excited to, play. Hopefully I get a little home run or two. I don't know, the field's a little big.
That would be good. We would like that too. When are you going back to Tucson? And for you, when do you have to ramp it up again?
So I'm going back to Tucson July 7th. Work out that whole rest of July, and then I get another break the beginning of August until school starts. So we get a little break this time. Around last year, I didn't get no break just because we went overseas, so had no summer. So I'm glad I get to take a step away from Tucson and come back home, see my mom, see my family, and everything.
Good for you. By the way, how's the NIL situation working out at Tucson? Pretty good.
Yeah,
Are we pretty solid as
general.
far as that goes? Yeah.
Yeah, no, NIL is definitely a big part of obviously any college sport, but for me, I'm very blessed to be in the position that I am, able to take care of a few things that some kids are not in my at my age. So I'm definitely excited for more NIL opportunities. Got a lot of things cooking up that I can't say right now, but we'll see in the future. But again, I'm super blessed to be in the position I am when it comes to the the NIL space.
Do they sell KJ Lewis replica jerseys at the U of A bookstore? Are those there yet?
I don't think so. I don't think
Not
at
yet.
the
We need more
USA.
KJ
Yeah.
merch. We need more KJ merch.
I'm gonna talk to the management team and see if we can push that out, but not at the school. I don't think so. I don't think they do that at the U of A. I know other schools. I think they do sell like players' jerseys. Though.
Yeah. All I know is this. 5 years ago, you wouldn't get this opportunity.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, here we are. And it's kind of wild to think about not just where NIL is, but where it could be headed. I mean, any thoughts on maybe where we could be seeing NIL here in the future?
Man, I think it's no cap to it. I think the more college sports grows with even like the revenue with games, like the video game that's going to come out, NCAA football. I think there's be a NCAA basketball. So there's no telling where it could go. Again, with the talent that's coming up from high school, again, like it could be something that we've never seen before. Like you said, like even 5 years ago, we wouldn't even thought we would be here right now. So just I'm excited for the future.
No, a year from now, we're getting a chance to talk about you and figure out what NBA team you're going to. I want to see you be a Knick. That's just a personal request,
Hey,
but
I wouldn't mind being a Knick. New York.
It's awesome. I would love to play you as a college basketball player. That's so true. Hey, the football guys got this. What about the basketball guys?
Yeah,
we got to get you guys a video
Me
game.
and my teammates talk about that. We it's cool that the football guys get to do it and get to be a part of it. But there was a college basketball. Yeah, so
got to bring
hopefully
that back.
Bring it back. Yeah, for
That'd
sure.
be great. Hey, listen, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy El Paso, and we'll get you back on the show soon enough.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all so much, man.
You got it. You as well. It's KJ Lewis joining us here on Sports Talk. We'll come back, wrap up Hour 1, and get ready for Hour 2 next. It's 600 ESPN El Paso. "24 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. Our thanks go out once again to George Hill, KJ Lewis,
Jason Craig for helping us out.
Jason's been terrific. He really has. And Jason, a former member of this show for a brief period of time, he really was. He is the UTEP DJ. He's a professional DJ, does very well for himself.
That's right.
And just enjoying himself out here. And we had Colin Deaver join us earlier. Been a lot of fun. I love the NBA theme today, the basketball theme during a softball celebrity game that features football players. I like the way we're going here today.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, features football players, features fighters, features softball players. Autumn Scott from UTEP softball is on this team. So, yeah, an actual softball player playing in the softball game, too. But, no, we're going NBA heavy here initially, and I like it. I like it out of the gate. I think I'm looking over here to the Pepsi patio. More players are starting to show up, and they're just, they're congregating right now. This is the time where they eat, and then right after this, they actually suit out, and Steve, and they get ready to go. So, should be a lot of fun tonight. Again, Home Run Derby starts in about an hour. The game starts in about 2 hours, so 7:30, and tickets are still available, by the way, aaalltheway.org. That is going on right now. Also, silent auction still live. You could text softball 2024 to 7 76278. That's softball 2024 to 76278 for their silent auction, which is going on right now.
Yeah, you got about 3 hours left to go, and the coolest thing is one of the items does have the guest host on 600 ESPN El Paso. The minimum bid is $150, but we will tell you right now that if, in fact, you win the bid, we will, and when I say we, I mean Adrian and myself, and depending on when you want to come in, it could also include Cade McConnell. It could include Michael Plundo. It could include Alberto Urueta. We will go to eat with you. We will have a pre-show planning meeting, and then you will take over as host of Sports Talk that day. So we're excited about that. So if you do decide to bid on the hosting the program, we will definitely make it worth your while. That is for sure. And to make it even better, if the Chihuahuas are home that night, as soon as we wrap up the show, we'll send you to the game. So we'll make it we will make it a day that you absolutely will remember for a long time.
Wow, Steve. And, hey, all the proceeds go to a great cause, the A&A All the Way Foundation. That's awesome stuff in itself. In fact, all the proceeds from tonight's game will go to benefit the free youth football and basketball camps that they host tomorrow, along with all the other initiatives that the A&A All the Way Foundation holds all throughout the year. They host a turkey drive, a Thanksgiving drive, a winter coat drive here in El Paso, a shoe drive as well with our friends Wind Supply El Paso. They host different events all across town, like their back to school events. So yeah, that's what all the proceeds will go to. So if you bid on us, $150, that's the starting bid. I see that there is one watcher on there, which, by the way, if you're on the auction link, you can actually put a watch list so you can be on there. So we have one person watching us right now, Steve.
Good.
And I think they're looking to see, if anybody else starts to bid on this one right here.
Place the bid. We'll make it again. We'll make it worth your while. We got enough restaurant trade. We'll take you someplace fun and nice that you'll like. And then if you decide to host during a Chihuahuas game, we'll even get you our tickets and we'll set you up. We will give you so many extra bonuses and perks. It'll be worth it and then some. It's almost like we're paying you to go ahead and host the show and win with us. That's all.
That's right. And, it's fun because when we get a chance to do these things, people really have responded in a positive way. We talked about Carson and the gang, all his friends joining us year one. Pinky was gifted it by Esteban last year. So this year, just to throw it out there, if Esteban bids on us, he's got to go. He's got to show up, and he's got to be a part of this as well. That's the only rule.
None of this gifting. The for the second year in a row. If he bids on it, he's got to be the one that hosts it.
He's got to redeem it. That's right. Exactly. Hey, Steve, there's already a lot of action that's going on the field right now, and I think the reason is we're only an hour away from the actual home run derby. And like George Hill was saying, when they belt the softball outside this fence, we might see a lot of home runs here tonight. There, guys like Micah Parsons, he was able to knock a lot of home runs last year.
I feel like that fence is only about 250 feet, maybe, when you start to look at the dimensions. It should not be that difficult at all poking one out of here.
Okay, 10 pitches for you, Steve. How many you send out?
See, it's tough because I haven't swung a softball bat in any kind of a setting, slow pitch, in probably 20 years. It's been that long for me. Now, if this was 20 years ago and you threw me 10 pitches, I would probably knock 8 of those over the fence.
Okay.
So I was a home run hitter when I played slow pitch softball back in the day. That was my specialty. I was a lefty and I could always hit the ball far. Now though, I don't know. I've aged, so it's not as easy as it used to be.
But with a week prep, like let's say you get a week to prep for this, could you go over under 4? I feel like you can go over 4.
I would go if the two bats that I still have after all these years have anything left in them and they're not dead, yes, I would definitely be going over 4 for those if that was the case. So I just and give me a little time to hit some balls again and get back into it. That would be a lot of fun. I miss those days. We won 3 or 4 trophies in a row in the the media softball league. We were a really good team. Teams hated playing us. So yeah. I got to go a long ways back, a lot of years ago, but those days were a lot of fun.
Man, that's awesome stuff. That is awesome stuff. Hey, I'm hearing that we might get a chance to get to talk with Will Hernandez here. He just had his Mijo Things camp here in El Paso, Steve. It was fantastic. It was a great opportunity for a lot of kids to show out and experience the camp. We might get a chance to talk with Will here soon enough. So
That'd be
Jason's
awesome.
working on that one right there. But the tough part is everybody's eating. They're getting ready for the actual game itself, and so that's where we're at right here. We're even looking on the field right now, Steve. They're starting to get the softballs ready to go too.
Listen to this, okay? I just saw this score. And since we're talking softball, we'll talk baseball. Hags will be joining us an hour from now, less actually. He comes on in about 40 minutes for Chihuahuas baseball. Right now, okay, bottom of the first, 2 outs. The Yankees, after getting creamed by the Mets 12-2 yesterday, are in Toronto playing the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are 36-43. The Yankees, 52-20. With 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning, Carlos Rodon is pitching. The Blue Jays are winning 5-0. And they have batted around in the first inning. They have runners on first and third with 2 outs and Bo Bichette up. And I mean, the Yankees are in a tailspin right now. Their offense is doing nothing. Their pitchers are throwing batting practice. And this team that looked like they couldn't lose a few weeks ago suddenly looks like an absolutely a shell of what they were once like.
So I've got a couple questions. The first one is, how worried are you with the starting rotation, knowing Garrett Cole got hit as hard as he did against the Mets, just like you mentioned?
No, let me listen. They crushed Garrett Cole. Yesterday, they destroyed Luis Gil, who has not been good the last few starts.
And what
tonight
happened? He was
Carlos.
killer.
Yeah, and tonight it's Carlos Rodon. So the offense isn't hitting. The pitching's getting destroyed. There are problems right now. There are legitimate issues for the Yanks, who are trying to stay in front of Baltimore, and right now they can't get out of their own way.
So all the trade deadline news is, a first baseman. Do you subscribe to that notion right there, or do you think that there are bigger issues, like maybe shoring up a little bit of pitching right there, or do you be patient with the pitching and get more offense here before the deadline approaches?
I mean, you look at it right now, right? They've got Cole, Stroman, Gil, Rodon. I mean, they should be, with that rotation, they should be winning games. They should not be getting hit the way they are. They have lost 8 of their last 10. 8 of their last 10, and they still have 52 wins. So that's the thing, too. I mean, the pitching should be too good to put together these kind of a results. So, and remember, you also have Nestor Cortez. I mean, now, you might say that Luis Gil is starting to tire, and maybe better teams are exploiting him a little bit. That could be the case. You've got Schmidt, who is on the IL right now, and he was having a terrific season until he got hurt. Rodon has been hit or miss. Cortez has been hit or miss. Cole just came back, is going to need some time. I think the Yankees are going to struggle in a big way. And meanwhile, the Mets can't lose. So it's weird how the Mets started off god-awful, and they've essentially flip-flopped these two teams. The Yankees still, 52 wins, a lot of wins. They've got one of the best records in the game, even with this losing streak. But they got to fix it fast, or they're going to have a hard time recovering.
You know, what's interesting is we were, when we were talking to Jeff Erickson about buyers here at the trade deadline. I think you're looking at another team who's down right now against the Orioles 6-1 in the Rangers. Steve, in your opinion, is this team a buyer here at the deadline, or are you worried? Like you were saying right now, the Yankees have put together a good record. They've got at least some comfort room right now. They've got to fix some stuff, but the Rangers are kind of teetering on this rope right here, this fine line. If they aren't able to fix it soon enough, we could be seeing the Rangers totally out of the playoff picture.
And they could be sellers, because you're right. They're 7.5 back right now of Seattle. They're nowhere near a wild card spot, so they got to start picking it up. They've lost 3 straight. They're not playing good baseball. And by the way, as much as I'm ripping the Yankees right now, they have the second most wins in Major League Baseball behind the Phillies. That just goes to show you how good they were playing. They're 22 games over 500, and they've lost 8 of their last 10.
Wow.
So that tells you just the pace they were on until they finally have hit really their first true slump of the season.
Yeah, and I guess that's the comforting part if you're a Yankees fan, that, hey, you have been playing well all up to this point. You maybe just chalk this up to some bad runs here, bad luck with your pitching, and offensively, this is where you put all your eggs in. This is where you need to improve, and this is where you hope to have more success here moving forward.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. I mean, right now, looking at where the season's at, Yankees have a game lead on the Orioles. That could change soon. Guardians have a huge lead over the Twins, 7.5. Mariners have been great. They've got a 4.5 game lead over the Astros, but the Astros have won 7 in a row, so they're suddenly catching fire. You've got the Mets red hot. They've won 8 of their last 10, but they're still 13 back of Philadelphia, who's got the best record in the game. Braves are 8.5 back of Philly, and they're still right now 4.5 ahead of the Mets. Milwaukee is 6 up on St. Louis in the Central. Dodgers are 8.5 up on the Padres in the NL West. So a lot of these races are not close right now. But I'm just saying, the Yankees look human all of a sudden, and that offense, other than Aaron Judge and really Juan Soto, haven't put up much recently. So they've got to fix it, or offensively, they might need to look to make some big additions at the deadline.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're the Yankees, you went all in on this season with the acquisition of guys like Soto. So, I mean, here at the trade deadline, you have to be buyers to try to win it all. This is the window of opportunity right here to try to go off and make a World Series run, especially knowing that, hey, the team that just won the World Series last year, like we just mentioned, they're on a down year. So maybe you can think, hey, let's go all in on this year. We need to catch up to the Orioles for the Yankees, and we need to try to, continue to not just make a playoff push, but to actually make a serious World Series run.
No, you're right. All right, 37 past the hour as we continue, coming your way live from Southwest University Park. Overcast right now by the ballpark. There could be, looking east, some rain coming. I can't tell if that's going to be moving here towards the west and the north, or if that's going to be staying out east. But, Adrian, as we look a little farther out, looks like we could see some rain. But I'll say this. Right now, for softball, it is gorgeous. I've been checking the weather forecast out, and to me, you could not get a better night to come out to the ballpark, watch some fun, have some fun, maybe get some autographs, and more than anything, just enjoy a great cause, the A&A All the Way Foundation, and what they're going to be putting on tonight.
Right. I mean, all of the proceeds from the A&A All the Way charity softball game today will go to benefit the free youth football and basketball camp that Aaron and Alvin Jones host, along with all the other people here tomorrow out at Burgess High School. So all of this is happening right now. You could still get tickets. Gates have opened, so we're starting to see people trickling in. A lot of Cowboys jerseys so far. We see Cavante Turpin, the punt returner. He's here for the Cowboys. He's getting really excited to be in front of the El Paso audience. And then also, of course, Aaron Jones. You're seeing a lot of Packers jerseys, 33. Steve, let me ask you this. Are we going to see a Vikings 33 jersey here tonight? Will anybody be very hip and very, ready and up to date, switching it up for Showtime in 33? Are we going to see a Vikings jersey tonight?
I haven't seen, are they being sold yet? It would be nice to see if those are out there.
Yeah, I don't even know that. That's a good point. I do know that they've got A&A merch today. It's Showtime. It's called Showtime merch.
Nice.
And it looks really nice. I was looking at it right now. They actually have some that look like the actual hats that the players are wearing on the field themselves. So game-issued hats are going to be sold here on the concourse.
Oh, that's great.
Throughout the game.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And they have brought in the fences. I'll ask you, and by the way, these softball fences are fun because normally softball fences will, in fact, kind of be an easier shot down the line. If you notice, these fences seem to be a farther shot. Like, if you're going to try to park one right down the left field line or the right field line, you're really going to need to go ahead and crush it. So that's definitely the case. 20 in front.
We got the whole Mijo Things crew here. Wow.
We do.
What's going on? Cody, we got everybody over here. How's it going, guys? How you guys doing? Yes, most definitely. What's
Steve,
going on,
good to see
guys?
you.
What's going on? Well, we're on live right now with you, Will. We appreciate you stopping by. Mijo Things ran through El Paso last week with a huge youth football camp, and you're here back for the A&A All the Way charity softball game. What's it like being back here, your second home here in El Paso?
Oh, yeah. I enjoy it every time I come out here, man. We already hit up Chico's, Cometa, all the good spots, and now we're just gonna work it all off right now.
By the way,
hit some home runs.
you just threw Chico's and Cometa in the same breath. Now, Chico's is not near UTEP. Cometa is. So was that a very popular hangout for you when you were playing for the Miners? Was Cometa pretty much a must?
Yes, both of them were. To us, driving was never any issue, and it was well worth the drive.
Give me the Will Hernandez order. What was the staple when you were over at Chico's? How many doubles did you get?
You see, that's the thing, though. I don't do doubles. I do singles only because, one, you get more cheese per taco or per flauta, and then, two, it's easier access to eat it. They're not all, like, on top of each other.
So you get how many singles?
This is a science.
I get about 6.
6 singles.
A hot dog and a big Coke and a side of fries.
Okay. It's extra
Extra cheese always, yes.
extra cheese. That sounds right.
I love the Mijo Things merch, man. It's
appreciate
awesome.
it.
Where can people start looking at this?
Yeah, so we're gonna launch in July. We'll give everybody a heads up on social media before we open up the website to go live. But right now it's closed, and we're looking to launch in July for sure, though.
How was the camp?
Oh, it was great. You know, we had a great turnout, a lot of kids. Everybody was focused, too. All the kids were engaged the entire time. Because I've been to many camps, and that was one thing I noticed is that kids, as time went on, they just kind of start, like, doing their own thing. But no, these guys were into it and engaged the entire time, which lets us know that, it was fun.
It sounds to me like it's just the start of what could be many camps for you. You can build this tradition up.
Yes, for sure. We're already looking to do one in spring break of next year, around March, and we're definitely going to do our yearly from here on out.
Tell us about Mijo Things and the name and really the concept.
Yeah, Mijo Things is a brotherhood. Started, me and my friend group started it not too long ago. It's something that we've done since college. It's a term of endearment for a lot of kids. A lot of Hispanic kids can relate. And, we turned it basically into something that, we call each other our brotherhood, our friend group. You have lots of friends, but few Mijos. And you keep your circle tight, and you guys within that circle, you guys are helping one another to get better and to do big things.
I love it. This past season, Arizona, it just catapults you into this season, which is going to be really exciting. What's it like playing for a coach like Jonathan Gannon, who's so innovative, especially in the run game?
Oh man, Jonathan is my boy, man. We all love him. The entire team is bought in on what he has going on and his mentality. So, when you get that sort of formula going where everybody's bought in, it's going to be dangerous. And that's exactly what I think we're going to do this year is be dangerous, be a very, very good team. Second year under our belt, a lot of guys are playing together again, mainly talking about the offensive line. And I'm excited about this year, man. I really am.
Was it nice also to be around Robert Rodriguez, who you probably didn't know from your UTEP days, because I think he was already coaching in Minnesota at that point, but having a chance to spend some time with him?
Yes. I love Coach Rod. I see him every day, get to have lunch with him here and there. But yeah, I didn't know him. We knew of each other, but we didn't actually meet until he got the job in Arizona, so that was great. As soon as I met him, within 5 minutes of talking to each other, it felt like we've known each other since I was a freshman at college.
What's it like playing in this game in particular? You said you're ready to hit some home runs. What's it like playing in this game just again?
Nah, I'm all talk. If you guys remember my performance last year, it wasn't the best.
Well, we're not going to talk about it. No worries. Yeah, we don't talk about it.
No, but I'm ready to roll. I think I'm gonna be at catcher out there. So.
Is this the redemption tour for you? Is that what you want to call this?
I've been training all year for this.
I can tell.
Ready.
You look like it. Hey, you got a lot of guys behind you. Talk about you mentioned it. Some of these guys they go back to your UTEP days, and you've known them a long time. What's it like having a chance to stay in touch with everybody?
Yeah, it never stopped from the moment we met. We've been rolling together ever since. A lot of these guys were my roommates in college. A lot of them I played college ball with. Those are my Mijos. And yeah, we're pretty much go everywhere together. So.
I like it. Josh introduced himself to me, even though I interviewed him when he was playing for the Miners. It was good. It's good to see he has that kind of memory.
And we got Bobby,
me too,
and we
so
got Derek, and we got Cody. So
Yes,
the whole crew.
I feel like yes.
We got the west side to east side connection here in El Paso. Isn't that crazy?
Yes,
there you go.
We don't discriminate.
That's
I love
excellent.
it.
I love it. Enjoy yourself while you're here. Thanks for dropping by. And maybe you get an MVP award tonight. Maybe you can be the difference maker and make this
Home
thing
run
happen.
derby champ.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna give it all I got. I got you.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you hit a home run, we need a point up here. Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Got it.
Will Hernandez with us here as we continue. 5:45 the time. We'll wrap up hour number 2 here in a moment. Number 2 here on Sports Talk from Southwest University Park and the 3rd annual A&A All the Way Foundation Celebrity Softball Game. Apparently the search is over. Adrian has already spotted a Vikings 33 jersey somewhere here in the crowd. Where have you seen it?
Okay, it's up here on the upper deck side on the far left, Steve. A white one. So already interesting. This one might be, I'm not saying to family, but this one must have been an exclusive one right here. He's got the white 33 Vikings jersey.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I like
so interesting.
It. Looks really nice.
Yeah, I like that
I don't even know if
too.
they sell them. So either it's an exclusive one, maybe one that isn't a licensed one, but regardless, it's Vikings, it's white, it's 33, and it's Aaron Jones.
Oh, that's so cool. And by the way, I am looking right now at jerseys on the NFL shop for the Minnesota Vikings, okay? And the first thing I see is Justin Jefferson. I see J.J. McCarthy. I also see Randy Moss.
Cool.
I see T.J. Hawkinson.
Okay.
I see Jordan Addison. And yet I see, here it is, a Vikings Aaron Jones Nike Purple Game player jersey. So there it is. They've got him right now. You know what I like about the Viking Aaron Jones jerseys? I like the number 3. Do you notice how the 3 they don't look the same. They're different. One of these 3s is the conventional 3. The other one has almost like a little point to it. And
different font.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I didn't know that the Vikings do that, and they actually have those 33s different.
It almost looks like the Viking. Actually, so it looks like the V in Vikings.
Yep.
That's on the actual field.
It does.
Really like that look.
I love that jersey.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking at this one right here. It's the same one that one is, and I was making sure it wasn't a Dalvin Cook one. Remember, both 33.
That's right.
But no, it says Jones on the back over here with this kid.
I might need to get my hands on a Vikings Aaron Jones jersey, even if it's for 1 year. That might still be worth it, right?
Yeah, and I'm probably going purple with this one. You got to go loud. I went white with the Packers one, so I think I got to go loud and go purple on this one.
All right. They're taking some BP. We're going to come back. We've got about 10 minutes left, and we'll connect with the great Tim Haggerty next as we'll get you ready for that Chihuahuas baseball coming up here, 600 ESPN El Paso. As we make our way over to the great Tim Haggerty. By the way, are we going straight to 10 after, boys? We are. All right, straight to 10 after. That is good. Good job today, Michael Plundo and Alberto Urueta. Meanwhile, let me say hello to the one and only Tim Haggerty. He is live. He is hanging out, getting ready for the Chihuahuas and Round Rock. Tim, how is Round Rock, Texas treating you?
It's great. We've seen really 2 unique games. Enjoyed coming here. You know what I like about coming here? In most ballparks, when a Chihuahua hits a home run, you hear a smattering of noise. In most places we go, there's at least a handful of people that either traveled from El Paso or they have some connection to the team. Whatever it is, whenever we come to Round Rock, it feels like, I don't know, a fifth of the stadium is rooting for the Chihuahuas.
Awesome.
It's really cool.
Huh, that is
awesome.
really cool.
You know, Tim, my sister-in-law actually goes to Round Rock Chihuahuas games. So she says that the only time they actually go to the Round Rock games is when the Chihuahuas are in town. So she's one of those fans who gets really excited. She's the one who's probably wearing Chihuahuas jerseys and stuff like that. So she's always rooting for El Paso when they're on the road.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It's also just such a great setup. There's a hotel nearby the stadium, so the players were able to walk over, kind of make your own schedule. The one thing is I wouldn't mind maybe if they turn down the temperature about 10 degrees. I'm telling you guys from experience, 95 here is worse than 104 in El Paso. I mean, I am sweating as I speak to you right now, and the game hasn't started.
The humidity is just brutal. Yes.
Yes.
It is so true. Hey, is Gabe Mosser becoming the ace of the staff? He's got a 3.38 ERA in the month of June. He's got a couple wins, including last night where he pitched 6 shutout innings on 2 hit ball. And, I mean, you tell me, he's 28 years old, and a lot of people talking about Gabe Mosser right now.
Absolutely. He has turned things around. He came from the Arizona Complex League because at the very beginning of the season there just wasn't room for him in the Chihuahuas rotation. They sent him down to extended spring training. He then comes to the Chihuahuas and got whacked in his first game in El Paso, did not get out of the first inning. But since then has had some outstanding starts. And in talking to the pitching coach Scott Mitchell about him, he is just such a strike thrower. Even before this year, you look at the strikeouts to walks ratio, far more than most when it comes to how many more he's striking out compared to walks. And that will get you attention anywhere. So, yeah, he's not on the prospect list. He's out of a very small college, Shippensburg in Pennsylvania. But we've had that over the years. We've had some unexpected Chihuahuas pitch their way to the majors based on what they did with the Chihuahuas. I think about Eric Yardley, for example. He was out of Seattle University, was never a big prospect. They found him in independent baseball, went up and pitched in the majors for a couple of seasons. So maybe Gabe could be like that.
Nobody expected Matt Waldron to do what he's doing in San Diego.
Right.
Absolutely nobody. In fact, if you remember correctly last season, the idea that he was throwing a knuckleball was a novelty. It wasn't even anything that people were thinking about, and he has become the most consistent starting pitcher that the Padres have right now.
It's a great story. I mean, he is one of the best performing Chihuahuas in the majors right now. And way back in 2020, when San Diego got Mike Clevenger from Cleveland and a deadline deal on that COVID empty stadium season, Waldron was a player to be named later in the fall. Cleveland essentially said, okay, you want this guy? And he's become an outstanding major league starting pitcher 4 years later.
He really has. So, all that being said, and the Chihuahuas also getting some offense going against Johnny Cueto a couple of days ago. You tell me, what do we have here tonight in Game 3 of this 6-game set?
Yeah, it's interesting, guys. You take a look at the standings right now because this is the first series of the second half. And out of all 10 teams, it's a two-way tie for first with El Paso and Albuquerque. And those were the 9th and 10th place teams in the first half. So the Chihuahuas and Isotopes off to a great start. Hopefully they can continue that, and the Chihuahuas can be a contender here as the late summer comes. As far as tonight's game, Miguel Cienfuegos, one of the best Chihuahuas names of all time, is on the mound. 1-2 this year. He's had some ups and downs arriving from Fort Wayne. Very bright guy who grew up in the Montreal area. His parents are from Panama, but he grew up in Montreal. Speaks French fluently. Follows the Canadians. He's a Habs fan, Steve.
Oh, I love it.
Pitching for the Chihuahuas tonight.
Looking forward to that. By the way, we're watching. Is that KJ taking batting practice?
This is actually AJ Hodgkins taking,
Oh,
and you
my
can
God.
tell. You can tell he's a fighter. You can tell he's a fighter.
AJ is fighting. Oh, AJ is a disaster on the slow pitch. Tim, you're lucky you're not watching this because you'd be watching these guys play and be saying to yourself, "Man, don't quit your day job, guys. Don't quit your day job."
Are you guys involved at all on the field, or are you staying in the booth the whole time?
Staying in the booth here. Anchored to the booth.
Hags, in your slow pitch softball heyday, could you park one over the 250 temporary fences out here?
I've not played a lot of slow pitch softball. I was a decent high school baseball player, so I would say if I was there tonight, no, I would not be. But maybe if you gave me a couple of weeks batting practice, I could.
Okay, I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
That's fair enough.
I've seen Steve swing, by the way. I've not seen Adrian swing, but I've seen Steve's left-handed swing, and don't sleep on Steve. I could see you spraying the ball to left.
See, I was saying, Tim, Steve with a week's practice could belt four home runs. That was my number right
I
there.
was a dead pull hitter when I was playing slow pitch softball. I hardly ever hit the ball to the opposite field. It's like all I wanted to do was try to jack one as far as I could along the right field side. So that was it. That was my game plan back in those days. So, but I will not be doing that tonight. But we will be listening to you coming up next. Have a good call, and we'll look forward to hopefully another big performance by the Chihuahuas.
Sounds great. Thank you both.
In the meantime, Adrian, great job getting this done. Terrific stuff. Want to thank the A&A All the Way Foundation, Jason Craig, of course, Michael, and Alberto. And I'll look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow at 4.
We got a great one. Story time tomorrow, Steve.
Can't wait. Tim Haggerty's next. Enjoy it, everybody.